I guess for the sake of preservation purposes, once this is like uploaded and stuff, we should explain what the hell this is. So,
Hollow
base,
Knight.
yeah, Hollow Knight RP, coming from somebody who is not very good at D&D and has not played much of it and has never DM'd. So I am very much in over my head here, but I will be doing my best, and my best will
Don't
probably
worry,
not
I'm
be
a
very good.
D&D expert, so I will help you.
Yes,
I have
gonna
played
be
and I have DM'd, so.
gonna be pretty much winging this as we go, which is depressing to
Normal.
think about because I was up until 6 a.m. 2 days in a row doing shit like making enemy stats and placing enemies on maps and just writing the script in general. So, but yeah, it's going to be set in the world of Hollow Knight. So
Based
probably,
off of my shitty fanfic.
hey, it is not shitty. It's perfectly fine. But yeah, it's based off of the fanfic, following a firefly named Lynn, and
I
so
love her,
just
she's precious babe.
she is OC Do Not Steal, and then there's Quirrel and Tiso are going to be the other main party members. Tiso being a character that has
Best
like
boy!
he has like 8 lines of dialogue in the game and then fucking dies on a ledge. He did not die on the ledge in the story though.
No.
He almost
I
did.
somehow took
And
like a character with a one-note personality and 8 lines of dialogue and turned him into an actual character who is enjoyable and has lots of character development. Because that's what I do.
yes. And then there's Quirrell, who is also best boy, and then there's 35 other characters that are also best boy, but no. So the the fanfic is still being worked on, and my script basically is branching off after the point where, I guess, to give a very basic recap of kind of what's been done, not explaining like character motives or interactions or anything. She arrives at Dirtmouth and kind of is exploring, looking for the Pale King, not knowing that he's dead, trying to find out like if he can help her because how would you word the situation with the fireflies? Like,
Um, basically, they're dying off due to an unknown infection, and the elder of her people sent her to find the Pale King, hoping that he could help her.
pretty much. So she's trying to figure
Except the
out
Pale King is dead and the entire kingdom is in ruin, but
and
that's fine.
exists in a dream. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the City of
Yeah.
Tears because that's totally where it's gonna be, and it's not there. And then
And then she
there,
freaks the fuck out.
yeah, and then it's like, hey, you should see like if you follow the ghost who's going after the seals, then you can like he'll be able to help you. So they try to find like the player character of the main game, and then they do, and then they go into the White Palace with all the fucking buzzsaws, and the king's dead, and it's like, oh shit, this was not gonna work. And then they return back to
Yeah.
town, and that's where we're starting off here. So
There is more to my story, but at that point, our two stories kind of branch off.
right. So I guess I'll just go ahead and read my thing here then, and
Yeah.
we will figure out what we're doing. Lynn wakes up after a nice long sleep and takes a moment to take in her surroundings. A Lumafly lantern sitting on a table sheds uneven, flickering light across the beds in the cozy room. Her travel companions slept in the other 2 beds: Quirrell, the scholarly pillbug, a dependable companion and expert navigator, and Tiso, the ant warrior who managed to capture her heart through his courageous yet bashful nature. The events of the previous day start to come back to her. That's right, they had just gotten back to Dirtmouth, the small settlement on the surface of Hollownest. It was the first time since they had started traveling together that they had all gotten a proper night's sleep. Usually they'd have to take shifts keeping watch for all the infected insects that attack everyone on sight. She feels Malwarebytes, go away. um, she feels fully rested, but is hesitant to get out of bed. Now the memories of the last night really start coming back. The Pale King, the light at the end of her tunnel, the one that she desperately hoped would be able to help her situation, dead. It was her only lead, and now she was wandering blindly. She was extremely thankful for the companionship of Quirrel and Tiso, who both tried to cheer her up after they learned the news. It helped dull the pain, of course, but no amount of encouragement can help a hopeless situation. Tiso had managed to break through to her after a surprising moment of empathy. His words were blunt, but truthful. He knew that Lynn would never truly give up on her mission, and he'd be there by her side no matter what happened. He'd really changed so much since they'd first met. It was funny remembering how arrogant and brutish he was when she and Quirrel first made a chance encounter with him, what seemed like a lifetime ago at this point. All he had cared about was fighting and achieving glory, and then after Lynn saved his life, he slowly warmed up to her. It seemed like he really just needed someone who cared. Granted, he's still a tough shell to crack and isn't completely over his old warrior ways, but he's getting better. And he had finally opened up to her a bit last night. What was it that he said again? He escaped from his home after it was taken over by a rival colony? She'd have to try and talk to him more about that, if he was ready, of course. And then, God, there's so much more. and then there's Quirrel, who she had traveled with since almost the very beginning. He had seemed always so content to be Lynn's guide through these hostile caves. Lynn often forgot that he had his own agenda. He was always so quiet about it, seemingly happy just to explore and take in the sights. Not long ago, they managed to hunt down the enigmatic ghost that was breaking the seals of the three dreamers, or whatever it was he was doing. Hornet was never really specific. It seemed very important, but Lynn was a bit preoccupied with her own issues. But yes, Quirrel had come face to face with his old teacher, Monoman, only for her to be killed in her sleep without saying so much as a word to him. Quirrel took it in stride, hiding his pain by looking at the positives, but he was clearly just doing it for Lynn's sake. As Tiso had so bluntly brought up last night, with Monoman dead, Quirrel might never regain his lost memories. And so Lynn was going to try her best to make sure that he could at least get some new positive memories to make up for the old lost ones. But what should they do now? The Pale King was the one lead that she had throughout all this. All the fireflies, her friends and family, were dying out, and nobody knew why. Who better to find a solution than a pale being, someone who could see the future? With him no longer an option, they might have to start wandering blindly. Quirrel might be able to think of something, but with his memories gone, most of his knowledge these days is of recent history and things that he's pieced together from just scraps of information found here and there. But wait, there was something else. A voice that she kept hearing in her sleep, the fire demon. She closed her eyes tight and tried to focus. Yes. We might want to actually explain what that is. She closed her.
Oh my god, she called him the fire demon.
Yeah. Okay. So let me actually go back. So in the game, there's there's a nightmare lantern that you find, and when you ignite it, it just kind of summons Grimm into the town, and so we wrote this into the story, but put it in a different place than usual. And so she just keeps kind of getting this weird, these messages in her head from this vaguely threatening source, and has just referred to it as the fire demon. So
Yeah. Well, because I wasn't sure how to get her to go back to the town where he actually showed up, so I just made him appear in a plume of fire after she lit the lantern and say something about I'll see you where the journey begins or something like that. And she's just like, hey, I just summoned a fire demon. Guess I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, that was pretty much the exact words. But anyway, so the fire demon, she closed her eyes tight and tried to focus on the messages that he kept sending her telepathically. Dance and die and live forever, silent voices shout and sing, stand before the troop's dark heart, burn away the nightmare king. Whatever that meant, it didn't sound good. But wait, no, it couldn't be that simple. The red tents that they had seen set up right outside Dirtmouth when they arrived last night. She'd completely forgotten about that. It must be the fire demon, and just like that, it suddenly all made sense. If the Pale King couldn't help, maybe the Nightmare King could. He couldn't possibly be any scarier than the things they'd already seen down in Deep Nest. It was just too much of a coincidence to brush off. The lantern had spoken to her, and now here he is, no more than a few minutes' walk away, during her greatest time of need. It was settled, and she couldn't believe that it hadn't come up, she hadn't thought of it sooner. She'd have to go see this Nightmare King, but should she go alone or wake up the others first?
Oh, do I get to do things now?
I think you get to do things now.
Okay, fuck the others. We're going in alone.
So, as soon as you take a few more steps closer, he speaks to you. You've... God, I haven't practiced the Grimm voice at all. You have kept me waiting, Bright One. Why did you delay so long after the nightmare lantern was lit?
I had to find the Pale King.
He turns to you and just kind of nods, but otherwise does not respond to that. It is fate that you have called me here, and in turn I expected you to heed my call. But no matter. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Grimm, though some call me the Nightmare King. It is... Why is everybody British? It is... God damn it. I don't mean to do that, I swear. It is an accurate title, though I'm afraid it is a bit more complicated than that. You've heard the tale in your sleep, no?
I guess I have. Something about heeding the call. Sorry.
Well, no matter. Allow me to explain the story of my kin. Your hand, please. He holds a hand out and waits for you to respond.
I'll take his hand.
Right. As soon as he grabs your hand, he begins to guide you around in a dance while talking. What you see before you now is not the true Nightmare King, but rather an incomplete form. I, that is, we, both serve to a higher power, the Nightmare Heart, which beats in a world apart from our own. The heart feeds on a sort of flame, the life essence of particular beings. When the heart hungers, we must obey, there is no question. There is a ritual that must be performed for the flame to be transferred to the heart. I, as the ambassador to your world, seek out a mortal to collect the flame. Care to guess who that may be? He says as he dips you close to the ground.
It's me, isn't it?
He simply nods. You will find these flames within my Grimmkin, hidden throughout the remains of this kingdom. They will be absorbed by yet another of my kind, who you will be meeting shortly. When he has reached maturity, you and I shall dance again, and the transfer of power will be complete. The heart will absorb the current Nightmare King, I shall take his place while my child takes mine. The cycle forever continues. As he says that last line, he spins you in a circle.
And what if I say that I kind of have better things to do than go through a ritual with the Nightmare King?
Well, you see, this would be a favor for a favor. The Nightmare Heart hungers, and when satisfied, it will be most appreciative. You seek knowledge, do you not? I am most certain that such a powerful being would have no trouble divining this information. Of course, if you wish to seek help elsewhere, that is your decision to make, but I'm sure that you would not refuse. It would be most pitiable if you did.
It does seem like it would benefit me as well. Alright.
Excellent. You will set off at once. You will need to take this with you, a special charm that opens your eyes to my kind. He hands you a charm, which I don't have a picture of, so you can imagine what it looks like. But as soon as you take hold of it, you see another, like a small creature appear, floating in the air. It has a similar face to Grimm, but basically just... It just has very thin, leathery-looking wings and just kind of flaps in place and stares at you as he speaks. This is my child. He is weak, but will grow stronger as you'd find flames for him to feed upon. You needn't worry for his safety, only your own. As for the flames, there are 3. He closes his eyes to focus. One is at the summit of a mountain to the east, near a monument to an old god. Another is within the heart of another peak to the west, where heavy winds blow. The third lies far beneath the last, in a dangerous garden of thorns and acid. He then opens his eyes. My child will sense them when you are near. His hunger may guide you if your own senses fail. Do you have any questions, my dear assistant?
No. I guess we're good.
Very well, then. I will see you later on. That was not in character, but okay. Whatever. And he's like, okay, go ahead, cheerio.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, just that.
Yeah, Lynn's gonna hurry the fuck out of here. She's a little creeped out.
So yeah, Quirrel's just kind of standing there with his arms crossed. He's like, so did you have somewhere to be with? No British, no fucking British. What the hell? Why do I keep doing that? Oh, well, I see you had no. I can't do this voice. Jesus Christ. Whatever. I'm not even. I'm not.
Have to be accurate.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna do the voice. Fuck it. It's too hard. So he's just like, I see you had somewhere to be. Then it was too important to wake us up. Bampanada. And all right. So, if we're actually gonna be heading down into the game proper at this point, I guess we're gonna have to determine how we're wanting to handle. Like, I'm basically just gonna kind of go screen by screen. I'll give like a vague description of your surroundings and like what kind of things are around, I guess. And then if we stop to fight everything in every single room, it's gonna take fucking forever. So obviously we're not doing that. I think. Do you want to make it so like combat is only if you want to, or if the room is particularly dangerous, or should it just be a random chance, or how do you think that'll be?
Let's go with a random chance. That seems better.
Okay.
And
any suggestions for what the roll on that should be? Because I do have my maps that show like how many enemies are in each screen, so it could also be based off of that.
Usually when DMing, for random encounters, you usually roll a d20, and then for like depending on how dangerous the area it is, depends on how much you roll it. Usually it's every half hour or every hour you roll a d20, and if you get a 20, you get an encounter. That's how it usually works.
So it's only on the 20. Okay. I think I'm going to do it a little differently at first, and then if it turns out that you're still running into shit like constantly, then we can loosen it up a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, so you can tell that the Howling Cliffs is connected through the top part of Green Path, and that it will actually be leading back to Dirtmouth.
Okay. That's actually very convenient, because we can just get the flame and then head back and buy another map.
Yep. Just little bit of fourth wall breaking here. I did make sure that each one of these could stand alone as its own like thing that you do, and then you can head back. And also keep in mind that there are stag stations. It's up to you if you want to use them.
One doesn't like those.
You immediately notice something different as soon as you get down here, because the usual dark and just kind of bluish tinted caves now seem to have large clusters of some kind of orange Yeah, they now seem to have some kind of orange substance scattered about in large clumps.
Oh no.
It's not like everywhere, but there are very noticeable deposits of it, and you specifically notice that to the east, there's actually so much of it that it's blocking a pathway.
Oh, lovely. I mean, I wasn't gonna go that way anyways, considering Green Path is in the opposite direction, but stupid infection.
Alright, let me go ahead and do my first roll for the battle in this screen. That'll be great if we get it right off the bat here. So,
boy.
I think what I'm going to do is just kind of vaguely based off of the difficulty of the enemies and how many there are, I'll increase the number. So, like, I'm going to basically do a d20 roll, and this one, there's, like, one strong enemy and a couple really minor ones, so we'll call that, like, we have to... Basically anything above a 16, maybe. Let's see.
Sure.
Well, we're immediately getting combat. It was a 19.
God damn it!
Oh my god. Okay. I guess Tiso goes first. He has the highest initiative.
He's gonna throw his goddamn shield at the thing. and that's a 21 to hit.
Okay, I am assuming that hits. Let me look at my, I better fucking hit. Yep, that's a hit. Roll for damage.
Alright, so 9, 11 damage. And because he threw it, I have to make a dex save to actually get the shield back.
Okay, so let me pull up Quirrel's thing here. I have not done any combat in fucking forever, so he is going to just do a generic lunge at it with his nail, I guess. So let me do a roll here. 14 plus 9, that definitely hits, so 7 plus 5, so let me add that on. Okay, it is still going strong, and
God damn it.
next is Lynn's turn.
Alright. Lynn has the quick slash charm, so she gets an extra attack.
Oh yeah, what charm does Quirrel have again? I don't think it was on the character sheet.
His Mark of Pride, it's just gives him plus 5 feet of range.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, wow. That was actually a bad roll. Does an 11 hit it?
11 total. It does not. She will, at least not with the first strike. She tries to stab at it, but misjudges how far away she could reach and just stabs the air.
Oh my god. Okay, this one's even worse.
She stabs again, and the vengefly flies backwards a bit and dodges the next hit.
Alright, I've got one more chance. It's a fucking 2 again!
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, Lynn just fucking sucks. Alright.
Lynn's a little bit off her game today. That's okay. So
she did just, like, make a deal with a fucking demon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give her a break.
Okay, so, I guess because you're the one that last attacked it, you would probably be closest, but it also is perceiving you as not the biggest threat. So, I guess it's going to go after Quirrel here. Let's see. That's going to be a D10 plus 4 for damage.
Damn.
It's a fairly strong enemy.
That's true.
Okay, Quirrel
Goes
has...
down the well, immediately gets fucking ass handed to you by a vengefly.
Quirrel has taken 11 damage, and initiative is now back around to Tiso.
Okay. He's gonna get pissed and just hit with shield. Not gonna throw it, just gonna bash.
It actually does not hit. He strikes it with the
Oh my
shield,
God.
but the shell was surprisingly resilient.
Okay,
So-
well, Tiso gets an extra attack, which I forgot about last time, because he's level 5. Or, well, he's level 10, and they get that at 5.
You want
So
to?
he's
Do you
just
want to say
gonna-
that the extra attack only counts if he's doing a melee strike? Maybe to be fair.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, he got a nat 20, so I guess that's a crit.
Okay. How are we doing crits?
It's up to you. It can either be max damage plus a roll, or just roll double dice.
Let's do max damage plus roll.
Okay, so his max damage is 15. So it'd be 15 plus a roll, which would be 10. So he does 25.
He hits the thing once and it bounces off the shell, so he goes back for a much stronger hit and cleaves right through the thing, and it falls to the ground
Oh
dead.
god. What, Tiso?
So Tiso has killed the vengefly, and roll for wisdom
On which character?
on Tiso.
Tiso? Oh boy. Well, he got a 1.
Oh boy. Okay. So that does make sense. So you've not encountered any massively infected enemies before, so you wouldn't know this, and Tiso definitely didn't know this. A few seconds after being killed, the vengefly explodes violently.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, that's a thing they do. So
I forgot about that.
now I have this thing as a radius of 2 squares, but we're not mapping this one out, so I'm just gonna, for the sake of being nice, I'm gonna say the other 2 characters were far enough away to not get hit by this. Okay, let's see what damage we're getting out of this.
It's fine, Tiso has a charm that is better when he's dying.
Oh my fucking god, it did max damage.
Oh my god!
Tiso takes 20 points of damage.
Jesus.
Those things do 2 masks. I had to make it a strong move.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh man.
I love that he just fucking cleaves it in half and it fucking blows up in his face.
I could not have wished for anything better out of that. Jesus Christ. First enemy of the game. He's fairly sturdy. He can walk it off. We're heading into the next room. So you're...
With a whole bunch of infected explodey things.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Do these explode when they die? Oh god, I think they do. I didn't write that in.
They do. They do.
It's gonna be 10 more damage for Quirrel, apparently. Damn. We are...
Poor Quirrel, my god.
We are taking a lot of hits really fucking early on. If it starts looking like bullshit, I will scale back the enemies. This is all very very loose and able to be changed. So, I guess let me just go ahead and do a basic roll, see if we manage to avoid those. I'm going to ignore that roll and say that you avoid them, because I got a fucking nat 20. So,
oh god.
No, let's just move on. We don't need to fight more of these.
Okay.
Screw it.
Sure. For 10 damage.
Okay, it's dead.
Oh yeah.
And,
Do we care about the bush?
I don't know. Does anybody care about the bush? It's kind of just over there. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that probably nobody cares about the bush.
I don't care about the bush.
Okay. So that'll be the end of combat, and each one of those dropped 4 geo, so just add 16, and we move on with our lives. Oh god, okay. So I don't know what we're judging against here, but really it's just the weakest link is the one that alerts this thing. So what was the lowest number again? I don't even remember. Was it mine? I think
Lynn
I got
a 13, Tiso got a 12, I think.
I think I got an 8.
Quirrel got an 8.
So...
God damn it, Quirrel!
So basically Quirrel notices, he comes up and is kind of like peeking around, notices the threat, and is like, hey guys, there's a threat here. And it fucking notices them immediately. So...
We need a better image for Lynn.
The light bulb is amazing. I don't know what you're talking about. guess I will turn it over to you then. You have woken up after a rest, and Jeffy is still a thing that exists. And I think how we're going to do that is, if you don't mind, you could just kind of add that as an extra attack to your turn.
Sure.
Just make it like probably a fairly inaccurate roll because he can't aim for shit, and then I don't know, maybe like a d6 plus 2 damage, something like that. So you go over to Sly's shop, and the door is locked, and you knock, and there is no response.
Dude didn't even leave a sign on his door.
You head into the next room, and there's just a short hallway leading into a larger chamber, and off in the distance ahead of you, you actually can see some sort of fight going on. You can't really make out what's going on, but there is what appears to be a very large enemy flailing about with something much smaller attacking it.
Does it look like the smaller dude is struggling?
The smaller dude is absolutely not struggling.
Oh, alright. I guess I'll wait it out. If he gets in trouble, I'll jump in and help. Hold on. Is this the knight, or is this someone else?
You don't know. You can't tell from this far away.
Alright then. Well, okay, I guess we'll walk closer then, and then, like, observe.
As you get closer, you start to see that whoever the smaller person is, you can barely be seen compared to the size of the giant nail that they're using. He's leaping around.
Oh my god, it's Sly!
Leaping around quite effortlessly with it, spinning quickly and striking the larger enemy many times. And before you even reach the room, the larger enemy falls to the ground, and he finishes it off with one final blow. Now that the action has slowed down and you've gotten a bit closer, you can in fact tell that this is Sly the shopkeeper.
Damn.
You call out to him and he just goes, hello, I was just passing through and found this old armor and weapon here. I just thought that I could, try to sell it up in my shop. I was just working out how to lug it up there.
That seems like an issue. That thing is very large and you are very small.
He glances at the armor and then glances at you. He is not quite sure what to think.
We're gonna be slave labor.
No, he's not thinking that, but no, he's unsure whether or not you saw the fight. So he's just like, yeah, I'm sure I'll find some way to get this up, but he just kind of stammers a bit.
You did wield that nail like that's 5 times your size with very little effort, so I mean, I suppose. And then she like gestures at Tiso, and she's just like, he's an ant. He could probably help you. Tiso's just like, bitch, what the fuck?
Sly just kind of stammers for a moment. He was hoping to pass off the nail as also being found there, didn't realize that you saw him using it. And he's like, well, I suppose I have no reason to hide the truth. This armor here, this was actually mine from a long time ago. I have no idea how it ended up here. Some creature must have controlled it. And now I know what you're thinking. How can a little guy like me wear something as big as this? But it's the same way the maggot did it. It's actually powered up by soul crystals, the kind that you can find up in the peaks. Except now it's totally drained, so it's not moving anywhere until I can get some more. So I guess I'll just be heading up there now, see what I can dig up.
Hey, we're heading to the Crystal Peaks.
He brightens up when you say that. He's like, well, I suppose we could all head there together then. I mean, now I can handle myself, but if anything, I'll be helping you guys out. But I could always use a few more sets of eyes, though. Not for the crystals or anything. We'll be tripping over those, believe me. But the last time I went up there, I lost the key to my storeroom, and I'm hoping it's still laying around wherever I dropped it. This is the moment where we need a character sheet for Sly, so... Alright, so got the stat sheet for Sly opened up, so he'll be tagging you along then. So you have entered...
Oh my god, there's so many pink enemies.
Yeah. So you've entered the bottom section.
Oh my god, the thing's all the way fucking up there?
Yup. Grimm...
Oh, that's so far away.
Grimm did say it was by a statue of a forgotten god.
Oh god, I forgot. God damn it.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a trek. You're not really climbing as much as you are just kind of having to have a grip on this thing, so we'll just call that a strength check, I guess.
Oh boy.
We'll just say anything below a... anything below an 8 could be a problem.
Lynn got a 5.
Quirrel got a 1, so... Alright,
I got a nat fucking 20.
Okay, so what happens is, and I'm assuming Sly is going to have no problem either, so basically, you look up and notice that you got to ride these chains to ascend a bit, so they all kind of discuss, like, is this what we want to do? Okay, let's go for it, and everybody kind of grabs a hold. Tiso, Sly both grab on and just kind of get scooted off into the into the wild blue yonder, and then Lynn grabs on and does not get a very good grip on the chain and kind of drops off after a few seconds. Enough to have gotten enough height to where this could potentially be an issue. So that's going to be a d6, so take 2 points of damage.
Oh, good.
God
damn it, Lynn.
And Quirrel, as always, just kind of shakes his head. Tiso didn't even necessarily notice that this was going on because he's already way the hell up there. But,
He looks down, he's like, where the fuck did they go?
Yeah, Quirrel's like, oh, come. So he kind of grabs on, and somehow he grabs onto the chain in such a way that, like, the moment the thing starts moving, he doesn't get a very good grip on it, and, like, he kind of swings awkwardly into the side of the wall and then falls flat on his back, like, 5 inches off the ground. Does not even get anywhere. So his pride is slightly hurt, but otherwise did not take any damage.
It's just like, oh yeah, not so fucking easy now, is it?
So let's give that another shot then. Oh my god. Quirrel tries again.
God.
He rolls another 1.
Oh my god, Lynn rolled a 1.
Oh my god. Are we gonna have some problems today?
Tiso's just like, he's made it to the top by now, and he's just looking down at this like, guys, what are you doing? Ascending is not Lynn's strong suit.
Apparently not. After falling a few times, barely managing to get even more than a couple feet off the ground, it is now questioned if another way could be, if there's another way up. No, you know what? No, we're doing something else. So, Tiso and Sly have gotten to the top, and Quirrel and Lynn have failed twice now, and during this time of falling and making a bunch of noise, you've attracted the attention of 2 of the husk miners. So it's going to be a fight against those, just you 2.
Oh boy.
So, let's...
oh no. Consequences for our actions.
Need to get some combat somewhere. So...
I like Tiso just off to the side.
Yeah. Like you said, he has popcorn. Let me give him some. There.
Well, then I'm gonna do the Cyclone Slash.
Please don't hit me. I don't know if that can be aimed or if that hits everything around you.
Oh yeah. Nah, it'll be fine. It does say all enemies within 5 feet, but I'll just miss Quirrel, it's fine. Lynn isn't very smart.
I'm going to go ahead and say that you don't miss Quirrel, and I'm going to actually roll to hit against me for the sake of just learning from mistakes. So go for it.
Well, she rolled a 17 plus a 9, so...
Now, is that going to be for all targets or for just a particular one?
I guess we should probably roll for each.
We'll say that that one's for the enemy and that the enemy dies. It has 4 HP, but let's see how much damage I take.
Oof. Okay, she rolled a 19 to hit Quirrel.
Okay,
Plus 9.
Quirrel's getting fucked, so how much damage is that doing?
Okay, for the enemy it does 9 damage.
Yeah, it's dead.
Quirrel, of course, for Quirrel I rolled max damage, so he gets to take 13.
Quirrel kind of gets knocked back from this attack and looks up, sees the other enemy die, and then sees Lynn kind of finishing triumphantly before she realizes that he got hit and is just like, oh shit. Quirrel's not too terribly happy with you, but is like, let's try to never do that again. You head into what looks like it might be sort of the heart of the factory area of this. To your right, there are some large pistons constantly crushing against the ground. You're not sure why. And to the left, there is not large pistons crushing to the ground, so that seems like probably the better way to go.
I'm gonna go the way with the large pistons crashing into the ground.
Are you actually?
No, Lynn's gonna like start going over to like investigate the like crushing pistons, and Tiso's just gonna grab her wrist and be like, no.
just no. Okay, so how do I want to describe this? Basically, there's a big vertical climb ahead of you. Chain you can climb up on one side, but there's a few openings on the opposite side, and periodically you see a large laser blast shooting through this gap.
God.
What are we doing? Are we climbing all the way up? There's only one laser blast that seems to be going by. You can either ride the thing with timing to get past that, or you can try to get into the opening to dodge it and then climb up that way.
We got this. Tiso seems confident in it.
Sly, of course, does not give a shit. He just kind of goes. I'm not gonna roll for him because he's just kind of OP. But Quirrel is secretly hoping that he'd be able to like hold on to Tiso's back, but doesn't want to actually ask. So
I was literally just about to say that Tiso just kind of grabs Lynn and just starts going up the chain, leaving Quirrel there.
Okay, I mean, I think that's in character. Go for it. Roll for Tiso a strength check with a slight disadvantage because he's carrying someone. So, whatever his normal thing is, -5, and you have to beat a 10.
What if he rolls a nat 20?
Then he has no problem. Like a fucking boss, he grabs his woman and goes up the chain. But
it's just like, bye, Quirrel.
But did he time the laser blast though?
Oh god.
He probably was not thinking.
Fucking shot.
Okay.
In the face with a...
So hold on. So I'm gonna say that he, in an act of like bravado, he just kind of grabs her and jumps up, being like, "Yeah, I got this shit," and forgot to time it properly. So we're now gonna have to basically just hope that it was timed well. We're gonna say that it's roughly 1/5 of the time there's a dangerous thing there. So if we roll a 1 on a d5, which doesn't exist, then no, I'll make it a 6. If I get a 1 on a d6, we're gonna have a bad time. I did not get a 1.
Lynn gets very lightly grazed with a laser and then yells at him.
No, I actually rolled a 6. You were fine. So
Quirrel just, or not Quirrel, Tiso just showed the fuck off.
yeah. All right, so now Quirrel's left down there alone, and it's like, oh fuck me. You get near the top, and you see the strange mushroom creature yet again, growing in an environment that it seems fairly out of place in. And Quirrel goes over to investigate it, not necessarily wanting to rejoin the rest of the group quite yet after that previous excursion. And so what he hears is, I just find it hilarious how that's what they keep questioning. There's so many things that don't make any sense. The sentient paper, the imaginary sequences that keep turning out to be real, how anyone understands the bubble noises, but no, they always just focus on the, oh, excuse me. And then the mushroom goes away.
What the fuck?
There's a little side room, which seems to have like some storage shelves and stuff, and he definitely remembers this area. Says that he took a break here while kind of searching for the, he says the word crystal heart, and you're not sure what that means. Like while searching for that before he had to take a break here for a while, and he finds the key sitting on the floor under the table. So
Perfect.
we have he's gotten what he came for. Still doesn't necessarily mind hanging around the area to try and find anything else of interest, but he's pretty much ready to go and kind of just wants to get back to his shop. So
Well,
then
we'll tell him that we're, like, looking for a flame.
Do a persuasion check.
17.
So he's like, I don't know about any flame. This isn't really the kind of place that you'd be looking for that, but if you're sure about it, then I suppose it doesn't hurt for me to stick around a little longer. I might find something else of interest while I'm on the way. So he'll continue with you until you're done here then. And
Yeah, while they walk, she'll just kind of, like, vaguely explain the whole Grimm troop ritual without going into too much details, but she'll just be like, yeah, I summoned a fire demon who's now in town, and now I have to help him find flames, and he told me what was here, and she just kind of goes off about it and slaps us like the fuck.
I feel like letting him know that you're actively helping a demon might actually be further reason for him to want to ditch the team. So I'm thinking, but no, he'll stick with you for a little bit. Just speaking honestly here, I don't want to force you to do more combat after that last one. This screen has like 5 million fucking enemies in it though. So
Oof.
we'll just say that there is implied combat along the way. So for each character, I was going to say let's just give 3 possible attacks against each character and see how much damage they do. Because it's either this or we role play more fighting, because there's too many enemies here for me to say that you dodge them all. So I think this is a fair compromise. Eventually, make your way to the top of the mountain. There is no need to consult Jeffy as to where the thing is, because you can pretty clearly see some red particles in the air, maybe a good 50 feet away from you, something like that. It's you're not close enough to where it's attacking you yet, but you can definitely see where it is. Before we fight the thing, did anybody need to heal after that last set of bullshit?
Surprisingly, no.
Just to explain the battlefield here, you're on top of a cliff. To your left is a large fall that will kill you, so stay away from that. And
Tiso immediately jumps in there.
The cross shape is the radiant statue. This thing is floating, so it can go wherever it wants. Whereas, of course, you can't go where there's solid walls. There's a couple of, like, weird slabs here also. I did not actually do this on purpose, but it has a attack that will work perfectly for this.
Oh boy.
It's a 90-degree cone fireball attack. So basically,
God damn it, guys.
yeah. So like the way I'm gonna do that is it basically just kind of hits like this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all three of them get hit. This thing is I said it was a 3 square radius, so it would hit, yeah, up to this far, and like, yeah. So that hits all three of them. Well, if it actually connects. So let's see. Against Sly, that is a 11, which misses. Against Lynn, that is an 18.
That hits.
Okay, I'll do damage in a minute. And against Quirrel, it is a natural 1. Okay, good job there. And because this thing is a piece of shit, as we learned from the last one, as soon as it attacks, it's going to teleport away.
God damn it.
And it has a range of 8 squares, so
Tiso's just like, perfect, haha.
it goes above this slab over here.
Can I still hit it from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not inside a wall, it's floating above it, so if you have, like, a weapon that can hit, like Tiso does, then sure. Now, if I was going to be a massive douchebag, I could say that a particularly bad miss could actually fall off the cliff completely, but that would be really bad, so we're not going to let that happen. If you do ever roll a 1, though, then I might have to think about it.
He got a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And then before I roll a 1 again.
God.
Oh my god, it was a 2!
Okay. It floats in place and kind of waves its torch back and forth a little bit, and suddenly a spiral of fireballs emits from it, hitting basically everything around it. It's I have this written as a 3 square radius circle, so that should all... Oh, let's see. Yeah, that should also be hitting Tiso. Alright, rolls against everybody. And it has moved over there. If I was being honest, I would actually say that this thing is already dead, because it had 80 HP, and we've already dealt 84 damage to this thing. That seems really easy. I think I might be okay with that, if you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sly actually does the killing blow to it, surprisingly. And it...
I like how Lynn hasn't ever actually killed one of these herself.
It dramatically bursts into flame, much like the previous one did, and the flames converge into a single point and fly into the Grimm child, who pulses for a moment and then increases in size yet again. He now has a much larger wingspan.
Ooh.
And we're going to go ahead and buff his attack up to a... I guess let's make
D8?
that... Yeah, make that a D8 plus 2. We're not going to be completely done yet, though. There's still some stuff we can do here, so... Yep. Okay, you did not notice this last time, but on your way back, now that there's fewer enemies in the way, because you've cleared some of them out, once again, you hear the mumbling of the mushroom.
Oh.
Once again, you walk up to this thing and just hear it speaking seemingly to nobody. It's just such an incredible lack of responsibility to doom an entire planet and just move on as if nothing happened. It sickens me. Still, though, the man is a genius. Surely he could find a way to cure everyone instead of just abandoning the situation. Oh, excuse me. And then the mushroom goes into the ground and disappears. As you're heading back, you get near the area that you've seen before with, like, the window looking over the side of the cliff. And everyone go ahead and do a quick perception check. Quirrel and Tiso both walk through this area without any suspicion or anything. Lynn is following up in the back, and she's the last one to pass through this room and notices, kind of at the last moment, the sound of something moving around in the ceiling. Looks up and sees that there's kind of like a vertical tunnel. You hear this thing very slightly before you see it. Suddenly, this thing drops into the room from above and immediately does the pose shown in the picture. Here, let me show it in the video. And points a laser at you, which is probably going to fire in a matter of seconds. Go ahead and do a reflex roll, I guess.
Oh, Lynn is very much not expecting that, and she rolled a 2.
Okay. This thing fires its laser at you. That is going to be 13 points of damage to Lynn, taking this laser unexpectedly, pretty much just shooting her straight in the, like, just right in the center of the body, essentially.
Goodness.
Quirrel and Tiso, of course, notice this happen. As soon as the thing fires, they hear this massive blast, look back, and are like, oh, fuck. And before anything else can happen, you hear a high-pitched screeching noise, and some kind of green energy hits this thing in the back, and it explodes.
Oh.
All you know is you just saw something bright and green kind of flying up really quick from behind, and this thing blows up, and kind of shrapnel flies everywhere. Let me actually check and see if that hits. That was a 4. I'm going to say that did not hit. And that's it. It's gone.
Okay.
So
Lynn is kind of just on the ground with, like, her skin burning because she just got shot with a laser. And she's just like, what the fuck? Tisa's gonna rush over and, like, pick her up off the ground and be all like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Do a perception. Tiso doesn't notice anything. He doesn't know why the thing exploded at all.
Really?
Other than just vague footsteps off in the distance, Lynn doesn't see or notice anything else. Up to her if she wants to investigate any further.
Lynn's gonna go try and follow and see what that was.
Alright, the other two come with you. You go back into the room you go through the area and you see ahead of you, once again, is the pathway leading to the top of the mountain, and downward is a long shaft with, like, the chain going up the wall. What do you do?
Can I, like, roll investigate or perception or anything? 21.
As far as you can tell, there's no sight of it anywhere. At least not straight ahead. It's possible you could catch up, but it's hard to say, and you don't know which way it went.
She'll keep more of an eye open for any random green glowy things from now on.
Okay.
And she's also gonna mention that something's probably following her, because she heard this back in, like, Green Path.
Yeah.
Or saw green.
Yeah, back at Green Path, you felt like something was following you, and saw a very brief green flash when trying to investigate it, and heard, like, a weird kind of squelch sort of noise. That aside, nothing else of any major interest happens. You make it through that with no trouble, and you are at the top of the cliff that you saw earlier before you left town. There is a rickety elevator in front of you.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I imagine she's not too terribly interested in taking this thing, but it's the fastest way down, so you use the elevator, and it kind of slowly makes its way down to ground level. Nothing interesting or dangerous happens, and you are now able to return to town. Are we going to gonna wrap this up, or did you want to check out the shop?
We'll start the next session with that, like we did this one.
Okay. I guess that will be it then.
I'm very intrigued.
This is a real winner of a map here. You're going to see why in a second.
I can't wait.
So, basically, there's just kind of jellyfish fucking everywhere.
I see.
I don't know why I went through such detail marking all those off, but we're probably not going to take most of those into consideration. So, you don't know...
Oh, I've made a fatal error.
So you don't know...
Jeffy!
Oh, yeah. Well,
No.
we'll see what happens. We can always turn back if necessary. You haven't considered that in game yet. So you first encounter some of the small ones, and you pass by some of the small ones, not really paying them any mind. And the Grimm child decides on its own will to deem them a threat and fire at them. And one of the fireballs does connect with one, and being just one of the small, relatively unthreatening ones, it kind of just slumps over and collapses. Let's have everyone...
Lynn will be all like, good job, you did good, you killed a jellyfish.
Let's have everyone, is this going to be knowledge or wisdom to determine if this is a bad idea? Or intelligence or wisdom,
probably.
rather.
I'd probably go with wisdom. Well, Lynn rolled a 2. Oh my fucking god, Tiso rolled a 3.
Okay. Quirrel actually got a high number. He got a 19, so... Quirrel... Well, let me actually see if he notices, first of all, because he might not be paying attention.
Well, yeah, because they can't actually see Jeffy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
So they just kind of see one of them randomly die.
Yeah, let's see if he even notices that. No, he doesn't. Okay, so we're gonna continue.
Well, shit.
So we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue up a bit, because Lynn did not think about it, and so one of the larger jellyfish is hanging out, and let's do a roll to see if he hits.
Oh, that's a 19.
Okay. I'm just...
And a nat 20. Jeffy, why?
So Jeffy goes ahead and shoots at one of the larger ones, and it connects, and the thing violently hurtles toward the group, and does not give much of an option to dodge it. But let's be fair. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a to hit roll. I'm going to have this against all 3 of the characters. So the first roll is against Lynn, and that's a total of 25.
Oh dear god, she has an AC of 14!
Against Tiso, that is a 16 to hit.
That actually doesn't hit.
Okay. And against Quirrel, it's a 24, which definitely does.
I guess Tiso just blocked the brunt of it with his shield.
Fair enough.
I love that to, like, other people's perspectives that can't see Jeffy, like, fucking Jellyfish just hurled itself at us and exploded.
Yeah, just for no apparent reason, so...
Tiso's gonna be real fucking mad.
And the thing is, while you're doing this, there's still more of them around, and he's still shooting, so let's...
Yeah, he rolled a 19 and a 20 to hit them.
Well, there's smaller ones around, so we're going to say that one of them hit a big one of them hit a little one. So you also, if paying attention, would notice a small one slump to the ground. So I'm going to do another perception check. Quirrel notices the fireball traveling towards the smaller target and kind of puts the pieces together and is like, okay, hold on, let's stay back. And he realizes what's going on and is like, is there any way to control what the Grimm child is doing? Because he's putting us in some serious danger here.
Lynn just kind of shrugged and was like, I don't know, I never got an instruction manual.
Just do some rolls and let's see how many of these we have to deal with.
6. 1. Oh my god, I rolled 2 ones in a row.
On a d20?
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
The one time that it's actually useful.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna fudge that. Sure, you got lucky with the rolls. We're good. You hear the familiar mumbling of a certain mushroom fellow. Oh, that was actually really clever. I wonder how she knew about the rubber bands in the first place. So, he's mortal again? Well, I mean, as long as they're happy, that's what truly matters. So what about those people that were worshipping cheese? What's going on with them?
What?
Looks up and notices you. Oh, excuse me. Burrows underground.
What? What do you mean?
So you get past that. You walk into a clearing with the remains of some kind of gigantic beast lying to the side of the main path. And with no warning, 2 figures leap at each other. One of them is a huge mantis, arms like giant blades. He seemed to launch himself off of the ceiling down towards the other figure, who is a very bulky-looking cicada with a sack over their head and a huge club, who had just shot out of the ground. The 2 clashed together with a loud cracking noise and recoil, immediately entering a fighting stance.
Ooh.
Oh god, this is going to be so fucking bad. I'm cringing already, and I haven't even done it. Oi, you there! Watch out! He's a strong and fast, too! I don't know how long I can keep this up! So...
That was a brilliant voice. I loved it.
God.
That was my favorite.
So, we've got initiative, and we have a new character that we're going to need to do stats for, and that is your...
Oh, God.
That is your territory. So...
Oh.
I'm expecting kind of slow but bulky and with a strong attack.
Yeah.
The enemy then leaps straight up and back down again into the same place where he was already standing, releasing another shockwave at basically at point-blank range here. So... This one's probably going to be a little difficult to dodge, but I'll give the opportunity to it. Man, you got pretty high rolls on all those. Okay, so half a 7.
Tiso and Lynn are both proficient in con saves. One has a +7 and one has a +8.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that just did 4 damage on that one. Okay, so it jumps in the air, does this attack, everybody gets hit a bit, and as far as you can tell, it basically has fled. In terms of out-of-character knowledge, what happened was you got it to half HP. This motherfucker has 800 HP, and you started the battle with it having 700 because Cloth had already been fighting it for a bit, and you managed to drop it below 400.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was intentional. I never planned this fight to actually be beatable. It just needed to be survived. And the goal from the beginning was get it to half health.
Awesome.
So, It's gone.
Take that, you mantis fuck.
So let me actually...
Fighting an army of mantis men.
God. So now I get to do my horrible cloth voice. Oh, he got away, and I was sure we had him. I'd heard about this guy lurking around causing trouble. Figured I might be able to take him on. Apparently not, though. If it weren't for you three coming along, doubt I would have survived. Thanks, by the way. Name's Cloth. If you want to engage in conversation here, go for it.
I'm just like floored at this voice. Yeah, Lynn will be all like, oh. I don't know. Hold up. How do I roleplay? I don't know how to
I don't know how to
speak.
roleplay either. It's been forever.
I do it twice a week, goddammit!
You should know.
Oh, I still have Mechanics. Oh my god, these Mechanics are old. I guess she'll ask a bit more about, like, the Mantis tribe, if, like, she knows anything about it. And I've shoved Mechanics in my face.
Apparently. So yeah, she doesn't really know much about them specifically, but basically just knows that they're strong opponents, and that's kind of her thing. She heard that there is a so-called traitor lord in the Queen's Garden, and she just tried to take him out for no real reason other than for the challenge of it.
That sounds cool. Well, I guess I'll invite her along because we're about to go and fight something pretty challenging, so I'll ask her if she wants to come join us in that.
She is definitely interested in that. Does Tiso have any input? Because he is also kind of like the warrior-minded and interested in just picking a fight when
Tiso's a little turned on.
We have some competition.
No. I have to pee.
I'm gonna kind of speed up some of this here. I don't want this entire session to just be combat, but I do want to make sure we get to the end. And looking at the next few rooms, there's some bullshit. Like we'll do some rolls in a minute just to see like if any damage should be taken along the way. But
I'm fine with speeding it up because I do have to go at around 3-ish to get ready. So.
Okay.
3:30ish. So that gives us 2.5 hours.
Okay, that should be good.
Why the hell did I have half a box of Mechanics and not eat them? What's wrong with me?
Anyway, the other thing I was going to say is just kind of through passive conversation while traveling. I'm not going to do the voice because it's awful. I wrote...
No.
I mean, I can if you want, I guess.
No, it's fine. You don't have to.
Just looking for a good fight, I suppose. I'm not after treasure or nothing like that. Just trying to prove myself. It's not an easy life in this kind of world. Sometimes you think you got everything figured out, and just like that, it's taken from you. I just want to make her proud, you know? And she kind of gets quiet for a minute.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, well, that was the last flame collected. You can all kind of breathe a collective sigh of relief here. Cloth is honestly a little bit let down by how much of a easy opponent
I
this
was
thing
gonna
was.
say, like, Cloth is
And,
probably upset.
I don't even know if she ever got a hit against that, I don't remember. With that thing dealt with, really all that's left is to kind of get back. So you kind of just mind your step, wandering through the thorny patches, and come out at the top of a room. You can see a waterfall of what you're assuming is acid, cascading through a hole in the wall in front of you, and there's just kind of a pool at the bottom. Lots of thorns everywhere, as usual. As you start to climb down, you hear something rustling from above, moving quickly. Immediately, the traitor lord launches himself from the ceiling onto the tiny bit of ground that you're standing on. He raises a claw up to strike, and you hear a bellowing roar from Cloth. In the space of only a couple seconds, so many things happen that it's almost impossible to follow. Cloth leaps up from a lower platform, club raised, moments from bashing the mantis over the head. Suddenly, you hear a high-pitched shrieking noise, and then Cloth stops moving completely before falling backwards off the ledge. The mantis turns to see what happened, and then another high-pitched noise, just like the first, comes from somewhere below. The eyes of the traitor lord roll back, and he too falls off the ledge, and a splash can be heard from the acid pool below.
What the fuck? Can I investigate?
You look down, and you can't see the traitor lord anywhere. It's, you're assuming he fell into the pool. You do see Cloth's body on the ledge below, though. You don't see her club anywhere. It probably also fell into the pool. She shows no signs of life. You see a perfectly round burn hole, basically, going through her body. She is very clearly dead.
What the fuck?
And suddenly, a sound of rushing wind can be heard coming from her body, and you hear a voice echo distantly. I guess he got me then, huh? Well, my death wasn't in vain. I managed to take him out too, and you three are safe. Nola's going to be so proud of me. I'll finally get to see her again. Thank you, Quirrel, Lynn, Tiso. I hope you find your happiness too. I'll see you again someday. You hear the rushing wind noise again, and then silence.
Aw, Cloth. That's so sad.
You take your moment to mourn and move on. There's not really much you can do about it. So you head through the rest of the area, and you see a large form standing in the middle of this area. Basically a big wiggling bush with blobs of orange infection coming out of it.
Oh. Oh no! It's not gonna shut up!
You start hearing it rambling, and it doesn't seem to be talking to anybody in particular. As you kind of get near it and pass by, it continues its rambling, does not address you specifically in any way. But you just hear, "Oh, the light, it calls to us, it longs to be released, your rays touch us, your warmth fills us, yes, soon, soon the chains will be broken. The chains that suppress your radiant glory, Hollow Nest will once again be united under the true force of light." Do you stick around to hear any more?
No, this seems kind of like just some Jesus protester in the middle of a street just venting. we're just gonna head down, keep going.
So, you move on. You hear a little bit more of what's being said. "Even as I speak, the ill spawn of the false prophet seeks to smother your brilliance once more. The husk knows not what it is doing. It simply serves a being unseen." And, it just kind of fades off. You don't really pay much attention.
Lynn's just like, alright then. That was fucking weird.
It does not give a shit that you're there.
What, you mean we're not going to fall 70 feet into the fucking deep nest?
No, that does not happen, thankfully.
Oh, thank God.
In the interest of keeping things moving, rather than pulling up the map of this place and checking what enemies are nearby and everything, we're just gonna... whatever. You get through the area, you've been through it before, you kind of know what to expect, and you're heading back towards Queen's Station, which is not too terribly far away. Okay, along the way, getting towards Queen's Station, yet again we encounter Mr. Mushroom, and the ramblings you hear from it this time are, "That's great, I knew you'd always been looking forward to seeing more of the world. What's it like inside the ball?" "I'm glad it's comfortable then. Still, I hope she lets you out often. Have you left the island yet?" "Gotcha. Well, I hope you get along with the newcomers." And then that's it.
Oh my God.
I think you have about an hour, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We both know that the Grimm fight is unwinnable. I did want to do it, but I have a lot of stuff that's happening around it that I think we should focus on. So do we want to skip that? Because I really want to make sure we get this done.
Sure, we can just do a small narrative bit of it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll send you his stats and stuff, because he's pretty bullshit.
I think you already have, and they were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm gonna instantly die.
It is meant to just be a meat grinder, very much. I kept it very true to the way the fight works in-game. It is absolutely not meant to be winnable in any sense. Okay, well, you head up to Grimm, and he basically just kind of stares down at you imposingly. Ah, at last. I could sense when all the flames had joined in one place and awaited your return. I see my child has grown quite substantially since we'd seen each other last. Good. We are almost ready to begin the ritual. I believe I had explained earlier that we would need to dance again, no? I must admit, though, I was slightly misleading. We must actually engage in combat. I feel as though it is only fair to give you warning of this first, as to not completely catch you off guard. I will allow you a few minutes to prepare yourself as needed. Do not worry, I do not kill my assistants, but that is the extent of my restraint. I regret this is the only way to pass on the Nightmare Flame. Let me know when you are ready, and our dance will begin.
Oh boy.
Quirrel is, I imagine that you kind of come back and tell them what's going on. He did say that he is not going to kill you, but obviously this is still probably going to be pretty unpleasant, so his advice is just to be alert and realize that you're going to get through this. It might be difficult, but if it has to be done, then it has to be done.
Tiso's gonna give her a pumped up lecture and like pep talk of being all like, you got this, you're so awesome, I can't believe it, I wish I was doing this, fighting!
Alright. So, you ready to go back then?
Let's do it.
Alright.
Not that we're actually doing
Yeah.
it, but let's do it.
Yeah. So, Grimm does not say a word. He snaps his fingers. The Grimm child flies up above him, shoots a small jet of flame at Grimm, who absorbs it into his body. He then dramatically points a hand at you and fires some kind of flying creature made of fire at his cape, aimed directly at you. So that would, if we were actually doing this, initiate combat, and you'd have to immediately deal with the, flaming bat attack.
What an ass.
Throughout this fight, the child keeps feeding him the flames, which are powering up his attacks. And you fight valiantly, getting in a few hits, but he does not seem fazed by them very much. He is completely relentless. Every time you do successfully hit him, he will actually congratulate you. He seems very, very formal about the whole thing, acting like this is no big deal, whereas you're basically dying. The battle basically continues until the point at which you are essentially one attack away from death, at which point he stops, absorbs the remainder of the flame from the child, does not expel any more of it at you. After the flame has come out of the child, it flies up towards the ceiling of the tent and perches on a support beam. Grimm glows with power as he assumes a meditative pose and slowly becomes dimmer as the energy seems to leave his body. The transfer is complete. The true Nightmare King, who resides in a world apart from yours, has received the flames so desired by the heart. You have done very well to make this possible, Bright One. Allow me to now repay this favor, and allow you to speak with the king and the heart directly, so that you may claim your reward. He walks over to you and holds out a hand.
I guess I'll take his hand. Literally one hit away from death.
Alright, and at this point, we've got video. Grimm takes your hand, and in an instant, everything goes black. You feel a sensation similar to what you felt when entering the White Palace, but something about it is different. It feels more tangible than before. Your vision comes back, and you appear to still be in Grimm's tent, but it is darker and you are alone. As you walk through the hallway, it becomes progressively brighter, and you start to hear a very deep thumping noise. You also start making out bits of a conversation. One of the voices is speaking very quietly, and you can't tell what is being said. The other is much louder. I've told you, I will uphold my end of the bargain when I'm able. Do I look like I have that level of power yet? As you get closer, you see that one of the people speaking is Grimm, though he looks different. His cloak is completely red, and he seems to be figuratively and literally radiating with power, even in his idle stance. You don't know who the other person is. They don't appear to look like anyone you've ever seen before. Despite all this, your attention can barely be kept away from the presence of a gigantic, pulsating object hanging from the ceiling. It seems to be made of organic material, and is definitely the source of the thumping noise. Before you can take another step, suddenly your thoughts become filled with an overpowering vision that drowns out all your other senses. As quickly as it came, it disappeared, and as your senses came back to normal, you see that the two are still talking. After her, only the rat is left, so it shouldn't be long. Where is the firefly anyway? She should be here by now. The person speaking turns around and spots you. You're not sure what kind of insect he is. His skin is a sickly green color. He has protuberances on top of his head and where his mouth should be. He's wearing some type of black armor with adornments that don't seem to make any sense to you, including tubes that connect to his neck and bright red goggles over his eyes. His hands are very sharp-looking claws, and he's holding some sort of device in one hand with another strapped to his body. It's a sort of blunt-looking handheld object with a glowing green tube on it that resembles the chambers that you've seen in Monoman's study. Oh hey, there she is, the guest of honor, just on time. Why don't you join us? Old Grimm and I were just catching up. We've been looking forward to your arrival. I'll introduce myself later, but first, I believe you two needed to work out your arrangement. Grimm responds, I have no need to speak with this mortal. She has done the necessary task. Dropping all pretenses, eh? Well, I guess if you don't need anything else of her, then
Oh.
Hello, anyone home? What, did Grimm knock the brains out of you back there or something? You didn't hear a word I said, did you? Well, try and rub your
What?
remaining brain cells together if you still have any, but it's not really that complicated. He starts fiddling with his handheld device while talking. You see, I have this project I've been working on for quite a long time now, and as it turns out, you're just who I need to help put the finishing touches on it. It'll be easy, I promise. All you need...
Is Lynn okay? Is she gonna die?
Suddenly, the strange bug is standing right in front of you, waving a hand in front of your eyes. Are you back? Man, what the hell did Grimm do to you? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Without any warning, the floor opens up, you start falling. You hear the unknown bug scream and try to grab your hand, but he isn't fast enough.
What the fuck?
Alright, there's more video. Before we progress, thoughts.
What just happened?
Do you have any idea what any of this is?
No.
You look up, and the room that you were in is contained inside some kind of bubble, floating inside an otherwise endless void of swirling red clouds. You soon realize that it is impossible to breathe here, and your entire body immediately starts burning, as if submerged in acid. You continue to fall away from the bubble until it is no longer visible throughout all the clouds. The only thing that you can make out all around you at all is some sort of very bright line way off in the distance, which is shining with every color of the rainbow. It's getting larger by the second, but you start to doubt that you'll even reach it before either suffocating or having your body dissolved, or both. A couple more seconds, and you're forced to close your eyes due to the extreme pain the atmosphere is inflicting on them. You receive another mental message. With all your other senses under such duress, you're able to make it out a bit more clearly. Somehow, this message seems to make you feel slightly comforted amidst all the horrible things that are happening. You open your eyes a tiny sliver just in time to see a beam of light extending toward you from the giant multicolored line. You have no idea what this means, but you welcome it no matter what it brings. And finally, relief. You still feel like you're falling, but air enters your lungs at last. The burning sensation stops. You open your eyes all the way and see a totally different type of environment, though nearly as chaotic as the last. You appear to be in some kind of tunnel made up of light, a never-ending rainbow of flashing colors stretching out to your left and right. Dotted throughout the tunnel, you can see many spinning circles of pure white light. You start to move toward this closest white circle, or perhaps it starts to move toward you. Your feet are not on solid ground. It's unclear if you actually have the ability to move in this bizarre place. As you get closer to the circle, you realize that it's actually a door leading out of the light tunnel. You look through the door, and you see Tiso and Quirrel standing out in Dirtmouth. They look very upset, and you can hear Tiso yelling something, but his words are distorted and impossible to make out.
What's happening?
Alright, there's still more videos, but this is a moment where we're going to try and do a little bit of RPing here if wanted. So you can see them through this portal, What do you want to do?
Can I, like, yell and try and get their attention?
Quirrel and Tiso look startled, and they start looking around in different directions. You can hear their voices, but they're distorted. It seems like they did hear you, but they can't tell where your voice was coming from.
I'm gonna yell for them to help me.
They obviously they seem extremely concerned. Obviously, they can definitely hear what you're saying, but they don't know where your voice is even coming from. Both of them are just kind of looking around in different directions, trying to see what's going on. You also notice that the place that they're standing is where the tent used to be. The tent is now just completely gone.
Oh, well, that's not super great.
Okay, well, I mean, you at least attempt to explain that you ended up in some kind of weird dream-like state or something. I don't know how you describe it, but you do your best. They are listening attentively, and you can hear them trying to respond to you, but it's muffled. You don't know what they're saying.
I mean, I'll let them know that I can see them, but I can't hear them.
Quirrel makes a thumbs up motion when he hears that. He understands.
Aw. I guess I'll just ask them to try and find a way to help me out of this, and I'll try and find a way out on my end.
Up to this point, you've just been speaking into the thing, right? You've not tried to do anything else?
Ooh, I'll throw my Dream Shield charm, because I took Quirrel's Mark of Pride, but I never actually gave him the Dream Shield. So I'll, like, try and throw the charm at him and see if anything happens.
Nice. I actually did expect that. You throw the charm. It goes through the gateway, and you can see it land in front of them. They immediately look to the spot where it came out of, which is just a random spot in the middle of the air, and Quirrel picks it up and waves in the general direction that it came from, and you hear him still saying something, but you can't tell what.
Tiso's gonna throw his shield where the charm came from.
You see it coming towards you, and reflexively kind of flinch backwards, but it doesn't come out or anything. Like it's a one way.
Well, they'll just be like, "Good try, Tiso." I'll try and go through it. What could possibly go wrong?
The doorway moves away from you as soon as you try to approach it. Every time you do get near it, it just keeps moving away. As this happens, you get another mental assault.
I mean, if her brain is being assaulted like that, she'll probably scream.
They hear the scream and look as concerned as ever, but are basically helpless to do anything. After your attempts to speak to them have failed, the doorway leading to them starts moving away from you, and no attempts that you make to get any closer have any effect. Another door of light starts approaching from the distance. It keeps on moving past you, but you could see through it for a couple seconds. It looks like the sky on a clear night, full of thousands of stars. Shortly after, another door whizzes by. This one's looking out into a dark cave full of gemstones and mushrooms. You see a jellyfish that looks similar to the one from Fog Canyon. The doorways keep moving past you, each one of them looking out at something different. You see a green field lined with round bushes, a dark stone room with stairs leading up on all sides, another field filled with large spotted animals chewing grass, another stone room with some kind of odd circular diagram on the wall, a sophisticated-looking machine sitting in a room of concrete, and finally, a doorway approaches you at a slower speed and stops in front of you. This one seems to be looking out at a simple structure made of brick. This one once again assaults your mind, and it comes with a feeling of encouragement to it. It's becoming easier to sense the motivation of what's being said, but the actual words are lost on you.
I'm filled with determination. Let's keep going.
Okay. So what are you doing? You're trying to go through the door?
Yeah.
As you step into the door of light, you're hit with another mental message, this one giving a stronger visual than any of the previous ones.
I like the Zelda noise. That doesn't look good.
That last set just insists itself over and over, burning itself into your memory. Everything goes dark as you collapse onto the ground on the other end of the doorway. There's no sign anywhere of the tunnel of light. After a few seconds, you realize that the area that you're in isn't actually that dark at all, but your eyes were so used to the bright light, it's taking some time to get used to normal light levels again.
Oh, but where am I now?
You have no idea.
I want to explore. I'm intrigued.
You try to move, but your entire body is raw from the burning sensation of what happened earlier, compounded with your wounds inflicted by Grimm. You can't move at all without experiencing pure agony, and even breathing is labored.
Oh, good. Alright.
You can still try to look around, though, and...
I'll just call out for help, see if there's anybody around.
You attempt to do this, but find that your voice is no longer working. You can't breathe deeply enough to make more than a quiet whimper.
Oh, good.
And your sight does return to you after a few seconds. You can tell that you're lying in a pile of red leaves. There is a tree nearby that looks blackened. And other than that, you're just... The walls are made of bricks, but everything appears to be empty.
The red leaves sound familiar, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Well, here's the video.
I'm gonna scream if what I think is happening is actually happening.
Alright. You continue to lay in the pile of leaves, and the sheer weight of everything that has happened to you begins to sink in. Even your tears seem to sting you as they drip down your face. You begin to wonder if there's any hope left, or if this is the end. You start thinking about your mission, to find a way to save your people from dying out. You promised yourself that you would never give up on them. You think about Tiso, and you can't help but smile a bit when you think about how easily you can fry his brain just by showing him even the slightest affection.
Aww.
You think about Quirrel and how much he has sacrificed while trying to help you with your own goals. You can't give up on all of them yet, even when things look their worst. As you're thinking all of these things, you swear you start to see a tiny ball of light forming in front of you. The thought of returning to your loved ones, it fills you with determination.
No way! I literally just made I'm filled with determination joke.
I know. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god.
Was that what you were guessing before we started this?
Well, not before we started
well,
this,
I mean,
but
before this video.
Well, you said the red leaves and the blackened tree, and my first thought immediately was of Undertale, and I'm like, nah, he wouldn't do that. But then he did that!
Yup.
Oh my god, that's so amazing.
I've been waiting for that for so frickin' long. Like, holy shit.
Oh my god, there was a part that I was writing when we were in Deep Nest, and I made a joke about Lynn falling into the underground.
Oh, did you?
I did.
So, I'd like to point out that months ago, when I told you that I had an idea for putting together this campaign, but didn't really tell you any details, we did the Metroid Zero Mission stream, and you fucking said at one point, like, you said something like, I want to write about Lynn, like, joking around with sands and papyrus. And I told you after the stream that you said something that I had to, like, really, really keep my mouth shut on.
Oh my god. Yes.
There's a little bit left, and then we're just going to talk about plans from this point forward. So, the ball of light fills the room for a split second and instantly shrinks back down to its original size. As soon as the flash dissipates, you realize that your breathing is no longer labored. In fact, no part of your body hurts at all anymore. Your muscles are no longer sore, there's no tenderness from the burning sensation. You feel perfect, aside from mental exhaustion. Hello, who is there? You hear a gentle voice call out from the building next to you. A few moments later, something opens the door, and you see who the voice belonged to. It's some kind of furry white creature with horns and floppy ears, wearing purple robes. She looks over at you still lying on the ground and puts a hand to her mouth in surprise. Oh dear, are you alright? I saw a bright flash and was not sure what had caused it. Was that you? She seems to glance over at your abdomen, which is emitting a soft glow. I have not seen you in the ruins before. What is your name?
Lynn.
Do you say anything else?
No, Lynn is kind of out of it right now. She's like, the fuck? So many things just happened.
You seem tired. Why not come inside for some tea and a nice rest? I will be making snail pie later if you would like to try some. Oh, I forgot I've not introduced myself. My name is Toriel. It is nice to meet you, Lynn. Perhaps once you have rested up, we can talk and get to know each other. Unless you have somewhere to be, of course. And she leads you inside the house. And that is the end of the session, and...
Oh, damn. I haven't gotten that excited about a D&D, like, part of a D&D game in ages. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I was so, like, what's gonna happen? The suspense, and then the...
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, I mean, I'd been looking forward to getting to this point for so long. That's why I was so annoyed when it kept getting put off, because I'm like, oh my god.
I'm sorry.
So the question then is, where do we go from here? Because originally I did want to keep going with this. This was basically the end of Chapter 1. I would like to keep going, but I don't know if we should, because it's basically from this point... all of the work that I've done is just thrown out, because we're not in the Hollow Knight world anymore, and I would have to basically kind of remake everything from scratch. I was thinking of the idea of alternating, where like there would be parts where we're playing from the other two characters' perspective, but
that would be cool.
I don't really know what they'd be doing, because they don't have a way to reach you. Like,
yeah.
they just don't. There's nothing. And so, honestly, where I am right now, not wanting to necessarily put all the hours of work into this, I kind of just want to tell you what the plans were, and depending on what you think, like, maybe... I know you were kind of having writer's block, maybe this could even make its way into, like, the stuff that you've written, if you think it's interesting enough. It's definitely a huge... departure, but I don't know. I was getting the sense that maybe you were kind of done with Hollow Knight anyway, so...
No, I'm still into Hollow Knight. I've been wanting to do more of the randomizers anyway. Okay. I'm like... I've been actually doing some brainstorming on, like, where I'm going next in my fic. Like, the fic isn't done with, it's just writer's block is hard. Yeah.
So... do you want me to share what I've come up with then? Because I do want to talk about it. The only problem is, it's obviously I'd be giving away everything if we did decide to do this, but I honestly don't think we're going to. I think I think it was a little bit too ambitious.
I thought it was super fun. Like, this was actually really great. And for your first time as a DM, like, you got me excited about things. Like, it was pretty good. Like, you had a lot of, like, mysteries and stuff, and it was nice. It was a good game.
So what do you think happened? Like, we you know now that there's a character that the character that you saw in, like, Nightmare Grimm's realm is the one that has been kind of stalking you.
That's what I figured from the description.
Do you have any idea what his
is that an OC?
No.
No?
It's not an OC.
What the fuck? Who is that then?
I will answer that, but I need to answer other things first.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what the deal is with Mr. Mushroom?
No idea whatsoever.
So I think you've
There
heard
was
six.
one that I did tell you that I got a bit of an Undertale vibe from one of them.
You
and
did?
you're like, oh, that wasn't what I was going for, and I was like, oh, well, okay then.
That actually wasn't a lie. That wasn't the Undertale one. There was another one that was. There were 10, and they. So here's the thing. This isn't just the two. This is a huge crossover of like 12 different universes.
Oh my god.
So, the Mr. Mushroom things were all from the different things. Like, so if you want to make guesses to what these are referring to, some of them are more obvious than others, and some of them are from things that you don't know about. The goal of this campaign was basically to kind of bring together a bunch of things that you really liked, and a few things that I liked that I was hoping to introduce you to. And kind of like bring them together in a creative way. So these are all kind of hinting towards some of them.
Which one was the Undertale one?
That was number 2. He was playing dumb the entire time. That's referring to Sans.
Oh.
So that's the other thing. The mental assault. Did you pick up on that?
It was Windings!
It was Gaster. Gaster was giving you messages.
Oh! Sorry.
There was a reason I sent those instead of just saying, like, you get a mental assault and then not describing it, because those do translate to things.
I like that. That's cool.
The sound that actually played during those was the Gaster noise, but slowed down, like, 400% or something. So because, like, the thing is, I couldn't remember how much you remembered of that, because it was like, I know when we played through it, we never found anything, but I kind of told you about it later.
Yeah.
So I figured if I did like the kind of crap, like the way it is in the game, you'd immediately recognize it. I wanted it to be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So I guess at this point I'll just go ahead and kind of explain what the idea was. And so basically you end up here in Undertale universe, and the idea is you're kind of just going through the beginning part of the game, but it's before anything with Frisk happened. You'd kind of just go through more or less sort of the same stuff, though. Sans, because you're not human, they don't like have a beef with you, though. And so you meet up with Sans and Papyrus, possibly Undyne. I was probably going to involve the Papyrus date at some point. And
Yes.
basically, the goal was to kind of lead you into a situation where Sans kind of reveals a little bit more about himself, that he does have like a scientific mind that he's kind of hiding behind this like jokester persona, and he basically agrees to try and help you because he has like all this stuff that he had from left over from when Gaster was like the royal scientist or whatever. And basically he was going to find a way to open another portal, but he doesn't know where the thing is going to lead to. And you go through it, and you saw into some of those portals when you were in the light tunnel earlier. And this is one of them that you saw. It's a dark stone room with a large diagram of some sort. And let me send you that diagram, because I had Autumn draw it for me. I can't wait for this.
Oh no. What? Oh my god.
So you see this diagram, and then you hear a voice from behind you. Someone saw you fall out of the portal, and it's Saint Germain from Castlevania.
What?
And so
Oh my god!
So you're in the basement of that church place, and now basically you're in that place, and there's going to be stuff with the main characters of that show. And so basically it turns into a world-hopping adventure, in which you go through a bunch of these different places. Each of the symbols on this wheel has a purpose. And so the person that was stalking you, like the weird bug guy, that is this dude. This is Crumbopulous Michael from Rick and Morty.
Oh God.
So he had Rick's portal gun, which is the weird like buzzing noise followed by something wet hitting the floor noise that you heard in the past, and the green glow. But it's not just him. He is being possessed by Bill.
Oh my God.
Bill set up a scheme to lure you into the nightmare realm to basically abduct you, and Gaster abducted you from him before he had a chance to succeed, because Bill is gathering people from all the different dimensions indicated by the symbols in the zodiac to basically restore himself to full power. And the only people that he hasn't gotten yet are you and the one represented by the rat, who is Doug Ratman from Portal.
Oh my God.
So there's a lot that went into this. I set up a shit ton of backstory involving how Bill came across all of this stuff in the first place. Like, basically, in Gravity Falls, Bill says that he came from a place called the Nightmare Realm, which is a gap between dimensions, and that's also what the place is called where you fight Nightmare King Grimm. So those are linked. And
oh my God.
The light tunnel is the infinite corridor from Castlevania that links all the different universes together. And so, like, everything's connected. And your goal is basically, at first, it's just to kind of get home and figure out what the fuck's going on. Eventually, it gets to a point where he does successfully capture you and takes you to a place where he has all the other people collected, and there's an immortality field there because there was a previous incident. The first person that he got was Gaster, and Gaster basically escaped through a portal into the Nightmare Realm and died there, and his consciousness spread throughout the realm, and that's how he's able to telepathically communicate with you.
Oof.
And so because he died, Bill then had to basically travel back in time and like go into a parallel timeline to get another one because he needs Gaster. And to prevent anything like this happening again, he set up a precaution where the place he's keeping everybody has an immortality field, which is a thing from Rick and Morty. And he showcases this to you by basically just kind of like going around in a circle and blasting everybody with his freaking laser gun, and then they like die but come back to life. And then he shoots you with it, but you respawn at the save point back outside of Toriel's house.
Oh my God.
And kind of have to go from, like, now he's lost you again, and now you kind of know what's going on, so you can work towards stopping it. And it, like I said, there was so fucking much involved here.
That's amazing.
I was very proud of this.
Who's the teacup?
That is Arthur Dent.
I don't know who that is.
From Hitchhikers. He's the main character.
Ah.
So, in the wheel...
What about the, like, jellyfish thing that looks like that Pokemon Ultra Beast that I can't pronounce?
That's exactly what that is. That person is Lucamine. So yeah, the different symbols are... Starting from the Gaster one going clockwise, you have Gaster. The mop is Scruffy the janitor from Futurama. The dove is Maria Renard from Castlevania, who I was going to be... I had to look up, like, what theories were on who Saint Germain was looking for, and that was one of the theories. So I made it her. The cow is Romani from Majora's Mask.
Aww.
The dog is Sirius Black.
Nice.
The speech bubble is a character called Homeschool Winner, who was a rejected character from Homestar. There was going to be a session where it's basically just a bunch of improv Homestar stuff.
Fucking amazing.
The jellyfish is Lucamine. The teacup is Arthur Dent. The firefly is obvious. And then the rat was Ratman from Portal. And so the idea was basically you were going to go from Undertale to Castlevania, and then from there to the Homestar world. And there's a cartoon you've not seen in that I've been actually trying to lead you into watching specifically for this, but you never did. Is there's one where they create like this dimensional portal device by putting a Game Boy in a blender, and so you'd get one of those and then be able to travel on your own terms instead of being like siphoned from one place to the next without any control. And eventually, it was going to come down to a thing with in basically being in the portal world and trying to like hunt down this guy and warn him that like he's the last one that's going to be captured, but he's kind of insane and doesn't believe you. And Wheatley's going to be there, and he's just going to be kind of annoying because that's what he does. And
Yeah.
I never wrote an actual ending. The idea was that somebody would have to basically trick Bill into giving him like the permission to enter your mind, and then while he's in your mind, you'd basically have to throw yourself into the void and die to get rid of him. But it doesn't have to be Lynn that does it. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
That felt good talking about all that, because I'd been planning that shit for months.
That sounds really impressive and really hard to follow.
Because, like, I told you before I started it that I was doing, like, research and planning, and that's what all this was. Because I didn't want to ever tell you it was a crossover. So I'm like, in the meantime, I'm looking up Bill's backstory, and I find this thing about like the axolotl that returns him to life.
Oh yeah, the fucking axolotl, dear god.
So it's like I did that. I had to look into the Castlevania stuff and figure out how all that worked. I was meticulously looking at each one of these worlds and like looking into the possibility of time travel in them and making sure that like it wouldn't break anything if it existed. Because I wanted Bill to basically be all-powerful and, like, almost impossible to stop, but, like, there had to be limitations. And so
Yeah.
the idea is he basically has you right where he needs you, but then Gaster kind of pulls you out, sends you somewhere else, and is kind of hoping that you can follow the trail of breadcrumbs while Bill is now trying to figure out where the fuck you went. And so I was going to have moments where there would be, like, triangular markings that are watching you and that kind of stuff. It was cool. I liked it.
That does sound cool.
It's a shame that it basically had to be all spoiled like that, but I think there was no way this was ever going to get that far.
Yeah.
Because this is, like, the Hollow Knight section was supposed to be one session of, like, 8.
Oh.
Because you weren't going to go into all of these different worlds, but you were going to go into a good number of them. And each one of them would have required plotting out what I wanted to have happen, what characters are going to be there, what their dialogue is, what combat's going to be like if there's going to be any, because the Undertale combat is pacifist, so I was trying to think of a way to make that work. So it was a lot.
Yeah, I understand not wanting to continue. But I appreciate all of the planning that went into that. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I put a good amount of work into that. And I think something can still possibly be done with it, just probably not this. This is all the different worlds and how they're connected, and kind of like I had them organized by year. The idea is that Bill can dimension hop, but he can't time travel usually. But in Futurama, there's a time code that lets you go backwards in time, but not forwards. And so he gets to that one, and then goes all the way back to the 1400s, and then kind of has to, like, live out everything in real time to, like, get back up to present day. And so, like, it's extremely important to not fuck anything up, because if he does and has to go back, it's, like, a ton of waiting that has to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can look at that later if you want. That's what I got. So, was any of this ever suspected in any fashion?
Not even a little bit. What the hell?
So I'm assuming up until the sudden portal shenanigans after Grimm, you didn't know that there was any, like, crossover to it at all?
No.
Okay, I tried really hard to make sure you wouldn't figure that out, but I left in little hints. That was what the mushroom was for.
That's super cool.
So I don't know where to go from here, but I'm happy that we got to finally get to that point.
Me too.
Like, the thing is, I had the idea for a really long time, but I kept kind of tweaking it as I went, and as soon as I realized that I could write the line with the build-up to "it fills you with determination" as, like, the fucking mic drop, I'm like, I have to do this. This is so good.
And like 2 videos prior, I'm like, alright, determination, let's go.
I mean, was that just an offhand statement, or did you
It
think...
was.
That's awesome.
Well, because it was like encouragement and stuff, and I'm like, alright, determination, let's get going.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had
No, that was
suspected
a
that.
coincidence.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that it worked out well, because I knew I looked forward to that moment for so long. I'm like, as soon as it hits that fucking reveal, you are gonna lose your shit. Like I said, we can maybe come up with something to do with this, but I don't know. Now that it's all given away, it's like, that's fine. I guess I can probably stop recording, but I'm glad you liked it. I had fun putting it together.